Hello and welcome to the September 23rd edition of Speedway Digest. Thursday Night Thunder, the most hardcore motorsports program on the internet. This is episode 219 of the series. As I stated in the description, there is no guest this week, but we are looking forward to having a nice guest on the program next week, a representative of NASCAR, one of the sponsors. We've also got lots of other guests on the show scheduled for the next few weeks. On the 14th of October, we've got a guest from who is a former Olympian, so that'll be cool to listen to. And sometime in the next couple of weeks, probably next week, possibly the week after, we're going to have Michael Mullally Capello back on the program, at least for one or two shows. Now, hopefully that all works out. I'm not certain that will, but hopefully it does. Let's go ahead and get into some rumors now, if we can. One of the things that's going on here in the Palm Beaches is the possible sale of Palm Beach International Raceway. Now, there have been a lot of things on the news about that recently, and all over the Palm Beach Post as well. One of the most persuasive rumors about that is the fact that there is a warehousing company affiliated with Walmart that is probably going to take over the Speedway. Now, that's unfortunate. It means it's another racetrack that's disappearing, and it's not a good thing at all. However, there was an update, as I mentioned, I believe, on the last program, about the fact that the Pitbull there of the Miami area, the singer, has partnered with a group of roughly 100 investors to put in another bid on Palm Beach International Raceway to maintain it as a racing facility, possibly to turn it into a racing club primarily, as the Palm Beach Driving Club has had a history of being out there at the facility. It's never really caught on, but they're hoping that it does, and that's one of the things they're trying to keep the facility open as a racetrack. That would be the best scenario, I believe, for Palm Beach International Raceway, but it's not necessarily the one that's going to work. Let's face it, racing has not done quite as well as of late. That is part of the reason why I started this program several years back, is the fact that it is a sport that needs assistance. It's always needed assistance. But over the past several years, it seems like it's lost its way. Some of that's due to the fact that the channels like Speed and that sort of thing going away. Seems like people are moving away from auto racing as an interest to moving to other sports, that sort of thing, which is fine. They can do that. But it isn't the best for the sport, definitely. If you looked at Bristol this past weekend, there's a lot of people who thought I was going to be at, which is kind of interesting. Bristol had quite a few people, and it was an awesome thing. It was a pretty good race. I watched part of it. Honestly, I did not watch the entire thing. But I did watch part of the event on YouTube, and that was pretty cool. It looks like the NASCAR has a pretty awesome schedule for next year, and their schedule for this year isn't that bad either. Let's go ahead and see what the schedule is for next year, shall we? Let's take a look in the old inbox here and see if we can find information about the NASCAR schedule. Now, I know that NASCAR next year, the first race, the Clash, will be held at the Los Angeles Coliseum, where they had the Olympics, where the football has been played there for a long time. And I believe this is the first auto race that will be held inside the Los Angeles Coliseum. Let's go ahead and see if we can find out more information about the schedule here. I believe I have it saved. I might have gotten rid of it earlier, but it was quite the schedule that they had laid out for NASCAR. I know they've got 39 events, which is a couple more than they had this year. Basically means they've got December and January off, and every other month they've got a race. Now that's a lot of racing. It's a lot of racing pretty much every weekend, and it'll be quite the year in NASCAR next year. Though new cars coming out. That'll be cool. They do have a test laid out in Daytona. I believe it's an 8-car test in Daytona in January to basically do the final adjustments for the car before it starts at the beginning of February there in California. Now, that is a non-points race. Everybody knows that. The Clash is sort of their all-star race that they start the season with, the pole and that sort of stuff there this year included in the race. It's normally about a 20-car field. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be cool to see. NASCAR has also made some adjustments to their schedule. They're actually going to have the Track Pass on NBC Sports Gold will be broadcasting a race there at Martinsville. We'll talk about that in a moment. But that'll be cool to see. I don't think they've really had any NASCAR events, any marquee NASCAR event on Track Pass recently. I know it was originally the plan to have a lot of their races online, so it'll be cool to see if they do that. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know a lot of people are forward to doing that sort of thing, and we'll get into that momentarily as well. Unfortunately, my email is not loading as quickly as it should be, which is unfortunate, but I've had some internet problems here as of late. Nothing big, but it's how it goes. So we're going to have the NASCAR schedule is going to be bigger and better next year. Everybody knows that. It'll be different cars. There'll be a few different people. Ben Kennedy is taking the lead, as he should, as the next generation of the Kennedy family there to take over in NASCAR. So that'll be interesting. As a lot of you probably know, I did an article the other day about the Sugarland Shine, which is pretty cool. We'll get into that in a moment, because my email is finally actually loading. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about NASCAR and their 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. NASCAR has announced the 2022 Cup Series schedule, a slate that spans 39 total events. The 2022 schedule builds on the steps taken in 2021, by adding more new and independent venues, which will host NASCAR's Premier Series for the first time. Of course, NASCAR announced the Clash, NASCAR's prelude event to the Daytona 500 since 1979, will take place somewhere other than Daytona National Speedway, when NASCAR visits the iconic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on February 6th, 2022. The NASCAR Cup Series will visit a track for the first time when the green flag flies at World Technology St. Louis on 5th. The 125 asymmetrical oval has hosted 21 Camping World Truck Series races since 1998. It was also part of the NASCAR Xfinity Series schedules from 1997 through 2010. Numerous NASCAR legends and champions have visited Victory Lane over the years there, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. went in 1998-99, Kevin Harvick was 2000, 2001, and 2010, 2009, and Brad Keselowski 2010, and earned wins at Worldwide Technology Raceway all of them earning wins at Worldwide Technology Raceway early in their careers. In another move in the non-history, Homestead Miami Speedway will return to the playoff mix. The popular 1.5-mile destination track will be a key venue and host the second of 8 races on October 23rd. In addition, Texas on the 25th of September and Las Vegas on the 16th of September will swap dates and lead off the round of 12 and the round of 8, respectively. That's interesting. Going back to the pretty cool when Homestead in. I know some of you have actually been there. I've been there for the race. I've also been there for the spring race when they had that. Long ago, I didn't go to the spring race there. I don't think anybody actually did. I think that. But Homestead is a lot of work, and if you go down there, you'll see it. I don't doubt it. They've also removed a lot of grandstands there at Homestead, which isn't very cool. But the fact is that the Homestead Miami area around the track is getting closer. The houses are getting closer. It used to be in the middle of nowhere. Now it's still middle of nowhere. It's pretty much at the edge of nowhere. But the surrounding communities are getting closer every year. That happens to a lot of tracks. Hell, happened to Daytona. Daytona's right in the middle of the city now. But I don't think that Florida has the same environment as you do in north central Florida. So it might be a sort of a lifeline that Homestead is getting there for the playoffs. But we'll see some. Hopefully it will fill up as they stay. They did a heck of a lot of grandstands, and it's actually quite weird looking there if you ever went to the racing in the beginning and you see all the stuff that's been removed in turn one. It's kind of sad, actually. Another straight schedule. Kansas will move up in the playoffs, becoming the second race in the round of 16 on September. The 2002 season officially kick off with the running Great American Race, Daytona 500 at Daytona National Speedway on Sunday, February 20th. be live on Fox, an venture that will also host the regular season point race debut of next-gen car. The race will then immediately head back out west, being at South Club Speedway on February 27th, the first time NASCAR will visit the high-speed 2-mile oval in nearly 2 years. Followed by Las Vegas Speedway on March 6th, and Phoenix Raceway on 13th. Now, there are rumors, of course, that the Auto Club Speedway will be changing, and I'm pretty sure that those rumors are true. So this might be one of the last times that that NASCAR, or anybody else in the major series for that matter, races Auto Club Speedway. This is supposed to become a much smaller track. I believe it's a half mile is what they're looking at. So that'll be something. Everyone watched the Bristol race this past weekend, and they saw that it was a very good race. But it looks like they're going to be doing the same sort of thing this season as they did, or next season as they did this season, and cover the entire race in dirt, as the Bristol Dirt Race will return to the schedule, this time under lights on Easter Sunday, April 17th. It's the first time they've had a race on Easter in NASCAR. There are a few racers who are very happy about that. There's one guy I saw on Twitter who was saying that he planned to get married on the 17th of April next year, and now he's going to be racing on that day. So that'll make it interesting for him. And I don't know how well it's going to play on television either. These are sort of things where some people they don't really like to worry about NASCAR racing on that day, or any sort of racing for that matter. But it'll be something to see how it goes. I think it might be a great race, but you never can tell, can you? The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race will also return to Texas Motor Speedway next season. The annual event featuring NASCAR's biggest stars will shift earlier in the season when festivities get underway on May 22nd. After an off week on June 19th, following the conclusion of Fox Sports' Cup Series coverage, NASCAR Red Bull Super Speedway will again kick off NBC's sports portion of the schedule on June 26th. The action in the Music City will immediately be followed by another fan favorite, Road America, which will highlight 4th of July festivities for the second consecutive season. Again, I don't like that. I think that the 4th of July is a Daytona weekend, but apparently Ben Kennedy thinks it should be changed, and so it has been. We'll see how that goes. I don't really like the fact that that NASCAR's moved their race to August there at Daytona, but we'll see how that goes. I have never been to a race in August in Daytona. I was at the July race several times. I was sitting out there in the rain several times, so I know why they moved it, but we'll see how it goes. I'm saying see how it goes too many times, but whatever. Watkinsville International will hold the penultimate race of the regular season on the 21st of August, followed by an intense regular season finale under lights at Daytona National Speedway on the 27th of August. Two distinctly different but equally pivotal tracks in determining the NASCAR playoff field. The home of the NASCAR Championship weekend for the third consecutive year, November 4th through the 6th. There have been talks about changing that up as well. Because as everybody knows, it was at Homestead for several years. Now it's been at Phoenix for a few years. Maybe it should move somewhere else. I'm sure they're considering that. I know that Kevin Harvick mentioned something like that in a recent interview. So there we go. Start times and specific networks will be announced at a later date, as will the 2022 schedules for the NASCAR Xfinity and NASCAR Campbell Truck Series. So how do you feel about the NASCAR schedule? I think it's something when they do that, make some changes. And changes is always good, but pretty much it is. It can be a good thing. So we'll see how that goes. Again, my mail is being really, really annoying tonight, and I apologize for that. I did plan on bouncing back and forth a little bit, and I'm pretty sure my computer knows that. So let's go ahead and try another thing here. See if we can reload it. There we go. One of the other things that's interesting about the next few weeks is the fact that MAV TV has recently launched on Pluto TV. Mav TV Select is available on Pluto TV. I've actually watched a couple of shows on there. I watched one today, in fact. So it's always good to see how Mav TV is expanding their coverage, trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly, make it a little bit more available on different platforms. Previous to this, you were able to get the Mav TV app there if you didn't have it on your cable service. I thought the Mav TV app was okay, the Mav TV Select app, but I don't think it was quite as good as the Lucas Oil app that they had previously, the Lucas Oil's TV app. So we'll see how that goes again. But Mav TV Select has always been cool. Mav TV was on the Samsung network when I first got it. We got that at the end of last year. So I've watched it quite a bit on the Samsung networks. But I think that Mav TV Select on Pluto TV will make it a little bit more available to the masses. If you don't have Pluto TV downloaded on your TV yet, it's an app you can download for Fire and that sort of thing. It's also some of it's on the different streaming services as well. So I'd be sure to download that. Download Pluto. It can be found on channel 750 on the Pluto TV app. Right now, it's one of the featured apps on Pluto TV, one of the featured channels. So that makes it live. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out. Again, Mav TV Select is available on Pluto TV. They've got racing, the American Sprint Car Series, the late model dirt series, the Pro Pulling League, Arkham Nard series, and all sorts of other different things. They actually had a British racing show on the other day that I was watching. It's pretty amazing. The Brit cars with all the basically like their IMSA there in Great Britain. So actually, a few of the drivers' names seems familiar. So I think they've raced here in this country a little bit at Daytona and that sort of thing. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next story, which I'm going to look at a little bit, which was a thing that we did about Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm actually looking forward to talking to Dale Earnhardt Jr. at some point in the future. They did contact me, one of his PR people, to say that Sugarlands had introduced the 1-2 punch, benefiting Folds of Honor. That was introduced at Bristol. Let's go ahead and read a little bit about that. And that was posted on Speedway Digest in their racing news section. So we'll go ahead and see if we've got a little bit of information about that available. If not, you can always check that out at Speedway Digest in the racing news section. Because as I stated, my computer is being stupid at the moment. It's been stupid off and on. That happens. But again, it seems working well tonight, which doesn't surprise me at all. But let's go ahead and move on a little bit. I did say that the Sugarland is one of the things that's related to Dale Earnhardt's race team. So they had a news conference there at Bristol, which I was invited to. It would have been awesome to go to, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. was there, as well as the two other guys from Sugarland Shine. We're actually going to try and talk to one from Sugarland Shine here in the near future. I don't know when. I haven't been able to reach back out. But let's go and see what we're looking at for next week. I'm going to have to send them a reminder shortly. We're looking at talking to a representative here from Auto Parts for Less. He's the CEO and founder. He's also a sponsor in NASCAR. So we're looking forward to talking to the CEO of him in the next next week, I believe. The founder and president of the week is planned right now anyway. And we will see if that works out. I'm hoping it works out. I do have it all set up right now. And we will see how that goes. Now again, the Auto Parts for Less, which is a sponsoring NASCAR, one of the leading sponsors in the NASCAR series. got the autopartsforless.com, the first marketplace in the e-commerce platform dedicated to selling automotive parts. To automotive parts, what Wayfair Zombie is products. A shopper who prefer shopping eBay around month. Each purchase going to the organization. We've actually talked to the guy from Folds of Honor before. Folds of Honor is a 501c3 organization that provides educational scholarships to the spouses and children of military members who've fallen or been disabled while serving in the United States Armed Forces. Now, if you're interested, if you can find more information at sugarlands.com or go to Sugarland Shine. It's at Sugarland Shine. You can find that on Twitter. And that'll give you more information about that particular beverage than no one. It's a refreshing, lightly carbonated tropical fruit, including pineapple, coconut, citrus, and a hint of cherry. 4-pack or at retailers. Post will call the action from booth with Dave Moody in turns and Hannah Newhouse providing insight and analysis and pit reporting. The broadcast coverage will start at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Broadcast will be available on participating affiliates as well as MRN's digital platform. The Valley Star Credit Union 300 is available on two Track Pass users with either the NASCAR Roots package, which is $2.99 a month, or the Track Pass All Access Pass, which is $4.99 a month, which includes all live events from Progressive, American Flat Track, ARCA Menard Series, NASCAR Road Modified Tour, NASCAR Pinty Series, and IMSA. Now, I do have an IMSA package from Track Pass. I don't think that I'll be able to see the late model stock car race there from the Valley Star Credit Union 300. Would be neat to see, but I don't think I'll be able to see it. I will try. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try, and we'll see how that goes. Actually, I'm going to have to look and see. I might be sharing this information on Speedway Digest in the next few days, as well as some of the other information we're talking about tonight. I'm not going to share the MAV TV thing, I don't think, because I think that was already shared, but we will see. It's always difficult to tell because of the way the Speedway Digest is set up, but of course you can check out the articles on speedwaydigest.com. Sometimes they get posted twice. It happens. Sometimes they have different perspectives. Sometimes it's information. It's all very important. So be sure to check that out. As I stated, we've got a lot of shows lined up for you. Next week going to be awesome. Talking to the guy from Auto Parts for Less. In a couple of weeks, we'll be talking to the guy from the Olympic movement. We're trying to get some other drivers lined up and some other racers. As I stated, we're hoping to get Michael Mullally-Capello back on the show, probably the second weekend or the second week of October. It really depends, but we're going to try and do that, and hopefully it all works out. This has been a difficult summer, a difficult year. Last year was more difficult, I suppose, but this year has not been a lot easier. and it's hard to find people who want to come on the show sometimes. I appreciate all the support we've had. I really appreciate the support from some of the people who've been really, really big supporters of this program in the past and will continue to be supporters of the program in the future. All of you love listening to it. I love putting it together for you. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact me to get your spot on the show. After all, use our 15 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you. As I stated, I'm probably going to keep this about a 30-minute show tonight, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. If you are interested in what we've been doing here, and I hope you are, be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder, as well as the other shows on the Speedway Digest Radio Network at speedwaydigest.podbean.com. As of right now, we are the only show in town here at the Speedway Digest Radio Network, and we appreciate the support that we've been given from speedwaydigest.com in order to keep this show going. It is not every week that we've been able to produce it, and that happens, but we are trying our best, and basically every couple of weeks we have a little bit of a gap, but we're trying our best to get great, awesome content for you, our great and amazing listeners. And we hope you enjoy the stuff we put out, and we hope you like what we're trying to do here. You can also check out the show on Facebook by searching for Speedway Digest Thursday Night Thunder in the search bar. I also invite you to read the articles covering all aspects of motorsports at speedwaydigest.com. I have had some time, and I will have some time in the next few days, to put out a bunch of articles on different things at speedwaydigest.com. We have our partners with IMSA from the IMSA Wire. We put out a lot of stuff from them recently. We also have some great stories from the National Hot Rod Association. The HRA is doing the best they can, and I think that's part of the reason why they're one of the things that's actually suffering in terms of attendance and that sort of thing. And I know that the drag racing as a whole is suffering in terms of because of the fact that the economic slowdown related to the pandemic, and some people just lost their ability to participate in those sort of grassroots racing, and that's unfortunate. I did hear an awesome thing there from Michael Malicapalo in Ephrata, Washington, where there's a track that had been closed up there for roughly a dozen years that now has some racing going on. There's also some amazing expansion going on there in Portland. I've seen some good things from the Portland area with a bunch of different racing picking up there at the Speedway. So that'll be a good thing in the future for them. Hopefully here in South Florida, we end up with just as good. One of the big announcements today, and I'd be remiss if I did not make this announcement, is the fact that Formula One will be in South Florida here at the Dolphin Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, on, I believe it's May the 7th. You can check that information on the Formula One page as well as on their web page there for the Miami Grand Prix. But that'll be something to see how that goes. I'm not sure if we're going to make it down there. I kind of like to, but we'll have to see how much it is. I know they're taking deposits, which is but they're taking deposits there for the Formula One race. I know it probably won't be cheap. I know it's going to be hotter than Hades. But it should be a great race there in Miami. They're trying their best. Be interested to see how they go around the Miami Dolphins Stadium. So be sure to check that out. That is a breaking news thing happened today. So it'll be early May there in Miami Formula One race. Kind of interesting. I'll check out. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida, and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news at our Slice of Paradise, a nice site for Guam's fantastic finds. It can be found on Facebook. Twitter, the easiest way to find out is by going to @PBHappening and by heading to forfantasticfinds.wordpress.com. I do have some news stories I've posted there on those fantastic finds tomorrow. We do a review of Halloween Horror Nights that takes place. Select dates in September and October there at Universal Studios Florida, the University of Orlando Resort. I haven't posted much about that lately. That'll be in roughly 2 weeks. And we're going to be heading out to Enigma Haunt, which is in Boca Raton. Unfortunately, this is the last year of Enigma Haunt because they're losing their building there in Boca. It's going to be redeveloped into something different. That is the cost of progress, as all of you know. But attractions, then you like great acting and amazing sets and pretty much a really good storyline, you need to head down to Enigma Haunt in Boca Raton. You need to. There's some amazing people there. They do great things in the space they have, and they put together a great story. So be sure to check that out. I've done some articles about Enigma Haunt. I did a profile of the actors of it in past years. Be sure to check that out on Warplum's fantasticfinds.wordpress.com. Basically, easy to find that is either to click on the Enigma Haunt button there on the side, more of the topics, or click on Halloween. That'll give you a better idea, better scope. It'll cover Fright Nights as well as Halloween Horror Nights, Extreme Halloween, and other local haunted events. And even touch on Scream and Stream, which we aren't going to this year. They moved and they changed. But be sure to check that out if you're interested in Halloween stuff, and I know most of you are. Once again, I'd like to thank you for listening this week. I know it's been an interesting program, a little bit touch and go, but I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. We've got some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. And if you're interested in being on the show, we'd love to hear from you as well. We're always looking to try and publicize new and upcoming drivers. But we also love talking to the drivers who everybody knows and just getting a little bit more insight into how they run their business. Again, if you're interested in checking out past episodes, please go to speedwaydigest.podbean.com. There you can find a full listing of the past 220 shows that we've done, 219 shows that we've done on the network. All of them have a description there. You can listen to the interviews with everybody from Jeremy Mayfield, Ernie Irvin, some Formula E people, including Nelson Piquet Jr., as well as people you may never have heard of before. Got the Luke Rogowski, who races in lawnmowers, or by the point we talked to him, he was racing lawnmowers. I think he's moved on to late models now. And we even have some interviews with people whose voices have changed in the past several years who we've got on the program. So be sure to check that out. There's some great drivers up and coming. Some of you, it's always amazing to see the people who I've talked to in the past 6 years. See them on TV and in the driving in different series. That's always kind of cool, and that's one of the things that keeps me coming back to the show as much as I can. Once again, we'd like to thank you for listening and look forward to seeing you again next week in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing. Again, we've got the guy from the NASCAR sponsor guy from Auto Parts for Less. So that'll be interesting to see how he goes. And we're going to go ahead and close out the show at this time. And thank you again. Have a great